going to be a dancer, with dreams of lighting up a Broadway stage, or floating effortlessly as a feature performer, maybe in a production of Swan Lake with the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Her brother Ron was the athlete, a promising hurler who became an All-American at San Diego State. Fate, however, had other ideas. Ron sustained an ankle injury that would end his career, so he turned to his little sister, who was at San Diego State to study dance, to run instead. And LaTanya Sheffield came out. And not just any kind of hurdle, a 400-meter hurdle. The toughest race to master. You think it's hard running a full lap around a track at full speed? Try doing it when you have to pirouette over about 13 different barriers. She was 2 years out of high school, and where she had been a sprinter and a cheerleader. But LaTanya was not quite sure what kind of training or running form was required for this race. So her brother, who was now her coach, designed a form for her that was called the rotation, where other runners would flatten their lead leg as they went over the hurdle. Ron instead taught LaTanya to rotate the hips and bend the lead leg forward, as well as turn her foot out as she did in ballet class. Not only did this method get her over the hurdle faster, and she was able to reach her top speed more quickly and stay at top speed longer. As LaTanya said later, my brother accommodated how my body worked. Needless to say, LaTanya became very good, very fast. But I'll say it anyway, LaTanya became very good, very fast. Her track spikes had now been replaced. Her track spikes had now replaced ballet shoes. Her first year of competing was 1983. A year later, LaTanya set an American record in the 400-meter hurdles at the NCAA Track and Field Championships in a time of 54.64 seconds. In 1985, she set the San Diego State School record of 56.59. Yeah. In 1987, she won a bronze medal at the Pan American Games, a gold medal in the 1987 Olympic Sports Festival, represented the United States at the World Championships, and in 1988 made the U.S. Olympic team. How's that for meteor guys? Visions of a gold medal began to enter her thoughts, and that vision intensified when LaTanya ran a personal best of 54.36 in the semifinal heat, and was the first American there to run under the Olympic time. Fate had a different hand to deal this time, though. In the final, LaTanya could not finish any better than me. I did not expect the size of the crowd on that final day, she says, recalling the moment. As we walked to the starting line, I was trying to capture the essence and magnitude of the crowd. The race was a blur. I was in awe of the moment and did not settle myself down. I also had to wrap my brain around the fact that my teammates had all been eliminated the day before. I was the only American left, and was feeling a weight on my shoulders no one else could see. I thought I was ready to go, but as for the enormity of the moment, I did not embrace that. Well, fortunately, that was not her last moment in the spotlight. Although married in 1989 to businessman Keith Stedman, and starting a family that now includes 2 daughters, LaTanya had one final burst of glory when she won a gold medal at the 1993 Olympic Sports Festival, then qualified for the 1998 U.S. Goodwill Games. Her competitive career finally ended in 2000. Even though she no longer runs, LaTanya cannot sit still. She became the first female sprint and conditioning consultant for the San Diego Padres in the 2006 season, and was a track coach for the 2006 USA Track and Field World Indoor Championships and the 2007 Pan American Games. Also, back in 2000, LaTanya founded Competitive Elements with a 5-year goal then to expose youth. It's still not working. Okay. We'll try that again. Also back in 2000, LaTanya founded Competitive Elements with a 5-year goal to expose youth in this country to athletic training regimens that would empower personal development. By the year 2003, that program has now been known as Sports Extravaganza Incorporated, which is established as a non-profit and has served more than 3,000 youth, with the numbers still growing, and sponsors like Nike, Subway, and Sigma. The idea germinated from a conversation she had with former U of A men's basketball star and Major League Baseball player Kenny Lofton, who remains a key sponsor. We had become training buddies, LaTanya said. One day, I came up with the idea for a clinic in our area, which he continues to support. It started with 25 kids and a few athletes, which is now going to 510 Olympians. It's not just training for sports, but for life. Sports is a universal language. When you can speak sports, people come out in droves. I didn't see my life in this magnitude, but I wanted to make an imprint in society and in community somewhere. I had no idea things would turn out this way, but I'm not surprised because of all the blessings that have come my way. But it was the late radio host Bernard Meltzer who once said, "Blessed are those who give without remembering, and blessed are those who take without forgetting." Our time to shift the call of glass on both accounts, which is why we're on this day.
Wow, thank you so
Beautiful.
much. This is a wonderful award that I'm receiving, and I just want to thank the NABJ for allowing me this opportunity. And certainly I want to congratulate all the other recipients that are going to be recognized this evening. You know, in the professional sports, and I'm going to say basketball, baseball, football, all the professional sports, you guys have teams, and those teams are wonderful, and you can collaborate and you can take a stance and all of that. With the track and field, certainly we are a team when we represent our country at the Olympic Games. But for us, we stand in a lane by ourselves. And we lose our last name. And we are representing the United States of America. So it's so important for me and the other athletes, my counterparts, to represent well and do the best job that we possibly can. We know that, and we respect our journalists, and so I'm standing amongst a crowd that I completely respect. I remember for the first time looking at an article and reading something that someone said about me, and that I had possibly made an imprint or a difference, or just based on what I've accomplished, and that was really huge to me. But what's huge about journalism is that you all capture time, and for a track and field athlete, that is most important. Time. And so I just want to thank you for holding that piece of time whenever you speak, whenever you write, whenever you think, whenever you edit, when you capture that time. It's so precious. So I'm going to continue to do my job with kids that I'm able to influence, and just keep on having them remember that time is so important. If I can leave you all with this. Every second counts. Thank you so much.